wish I knew where it was coming. Hello. Hello, everyone. And good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is Justin Hayward, or HAP for short, if that makes any sense. I'm very honoured to be part of this Love Ballarat business that's been going on. It's been very historically fascinating. And this seems like a bit of a little blip in that history, because this is about a short amount of history of mine involving playwriting or short skits and sketches. And I did release a little known book of 7 bloody short plays when I was trying to raise money for a book of lyrics in 2012. And I put this together for very special people who paid extraordinary amount of money to help me get my book made through Possible, which it was. And I started writing plays a very long time ago, and they were fairly short, and there's been a couple of full-length things in that time as well. Probably best known from a small amount of people as a lyricist, but I have enjoyed writing short plays and things dating back from the mid to late 80s, when I saw a group called Barnstorm Theatre, who were initially called Orr's Company, and the works of Chris Dickens, local playwright, had a very profound effect on me. there were two plays I remember seeing at the Courthouse Theatre in SMB, Foreigners from Home and Sunset Sunrise. And he was a very direct influence on me wanting to try and write as well. And he actually gave me a little bit of feedback and some assistance as a teenager in my quest to write some short plays and things. So what we're going to do this afternoon, there's going to be two short plays from my little book of 7 bloody short plays. And one of them being The Bill. The Bill was based on real anxiety about not knowing how to pay some bills. So what you do sometimes is you create something from that anxiety, and you either do it in a way that's going to be funny and relieve some tension, or you dwell and get morose about it. So I chose the first option with this one, and it's a play. It's playful. It's quite silly, but I've learnt that the word silly is a positive word in my life, and it's probably more Leno and Woodley than Chekhov, and we're just going to see how it rolls, and we're going to also hear some feedback and answer some questions at some stage. The people involved in today's shenanigans: Katrina Hill producing this whole thing. We've got Leon Hanrahan and Dan West, Tristan James and Linda Borner. They are all helping out with today's readings and showings of our two plays. I think I shall get out of here and let these plays speak for themselves. So please enjoy The Bill.
This bill came in the mail.
Yeah?
It had my name on it.
Yeah.
And my address on it.
Well, obviously.
There.
So?
I don't know what it's for.
Well, who's it from?
Someone.
Have you had something to do with them?
Think so?
So?
But not to this extent.
What extent?
$700.
Wow.
And it had a friendly reminder sticker on it.
A what?
A little sticker in the shape of a hand.
Oh, I think I've seen those. The hand is pointing?
Yeah. And the hand is pointing. It says friendly reminder in the hand.
Oh, and the finger is pointing.
At the $700.
Yeah. Are you going to pay it?
I haven't got $700.
Well, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
Did they get it wrong?
I don't know.
Can you ring someone up?
Who?
Someone who can help.
I don't know anyone like that.
Well, who was it for? What was it for?
It was for me.
No, not who was the bill for.
It was for me.
Look, why can't you pay it?
I don't have enough money.
Oh, well, just tell them.
Okay.
Pay it in installments.
Okay.
What was it for again?
Something to do with tax.
Oh, call your accountant.
It was from my accountant.
Well, why didn't you say that before?
I didn't think.
You didn't think what?
I didn't think I owed him anything.
Well, what are you going to do?
Check with him.
And what?
Find out if it was a mistake.
Oh, there you go.
Has to be a mistake.
Well, you'll be all right then.
If it was a mistake.
Did you earn too much last year?
No.
Well, there you go then.
I don't know how to fight this.
Why not?
I don't know what I'm fighting for.
You're right.
I don't know if I am.
No, you're fighting for your right.
My right to what?
To not paying $700.
For what?
I don't bloody know.
Thanks a lot.
Look, I've given you your options.
What are they again?
Pay it or not.
Crap. This bloody system. I'm so sick of the system.
Well, do something about it.
I will.
Good.
Today.
Good.
I'll get on the phone.
Good.
I'll ring someone.
There you go.
I'm not going to take this.
Yeah, bring it on.
I have rights.
Testify.
I need the phone book.
If that's the spirit.
I'll fix this up.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
That's funny.
Thanks.
But who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
That's not funny anymore.
Why not?
You've ruined a good joke
Oh.
by repeating yourself.
Oh.
So who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Dan West and Leon Hanrahan, for that very Shakespearean words that you brought to life. Thank you very much. Again, that was a short skit in the tradition of probably one of the writing I used to do with my mate Len Hyatt back in the day, when we would be trying to emulate some of our heroes, whether it be the Goodies or the Pythons or anyone else. It was just a little bit of fun, and I'm glad, because out of these, Katrina, our producer today, she got to, I said, just choose what you think might go down well, and I'm glad she chose one that was upbeat and fun and playing with words more than playing with any real deep truths about humanity. So thank you. Speaking of Katrina and a few others, I just wanted to mention back in the late 90s, historically, I started to write things like what you just saw. There was a play I wrote called The Hippie Bogan, and it got played at the Banana Lounge, I believe, which was a theatre night. And Mick Dando and Mike Meyer were acting in that. And I did have them very much in mind when I started writing those playful little two-handers. So it was always good to be inspired by who was out and about at the time. There were some great actors coming through the SMB Performing Arts course, who I had the great pleasure of having act out some of my plays back in the day. Jackie Horwell, Lisa Gibson, Adam Roach, Katrina and Lisa Hill, Katie O'Brien, Joanne Davies, who took one of my plays with her overseas and did a little stint with that as well, which was really was awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to shout out to that crew of actors and performers that came through SMB that I was hooking up with in the late 90s, and also Verity Higgins, who ran a playwriting course or organised one, which I joined with a few other Ballarat people back in the late 90s. That was very significant to me. So again, thank you, Dan and Leon. And we just wanted to say as well, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to send them through, and they'll be shot through to me as well, which will be very good. What else can I talk about? I think we probably go to the next one. What do we reckon? So I will introduce this one called Unfinished Business. And I will talk a little about this after the fact, and we will see how we go. So please enjoy Unfinished Business.
Hey, Where am I?
Well, firstly, happy birthday for the other day.
Thank you.
Your name is Marcus Knight and you're 36 years old.
Yeah. Where am I?
You're in the Office of Unfinished Business.
What?
Yep, I'm your case manager.
Okay, I'm going now. There's no door here. Why is there no door?
Yeah, look, I know. Please just come back over here and sit down for us.
This room doesn't have a door.
Please, Marcus. Sit.
This is a dream.
Okay.
I'm going to go along with it for now, for a while at least, until
Until what?
there's a bloody door here. Can I have a door, please?
Well, the door is up to you.
Then I want a door here. Why isn't it happening?
You tell me.
Oh, I get it. I mustn't want the door.
Now we're getting somewhere. Look, you broke a promise, Marcus.
What promise?
You made it to yourself at 8 years old.
What? What was it?
Well, you tell me.
I don't know it.
Well, you knew it once.
Is that it? I remember the door. I remember the promise, and I get a door. And if I get a door, it takes me home.
Well, do you want to go home?
Do I want? Hang on. What's that? There's a hole in the floor.
So there is.
Well, it's not a door, but it's an out of some description.
That's true.
So if I jump into this hole, I'll be
Out of here.
So I should take it.
But don't you have some unfinished business?
Well, yeah. That's life, I guess. I'm not going to remember some promise I made to myself when I was 8 years old. And as you said, I didn't pull it off anyway. My life has been unremarkable and everything I've done has been unremarkable. Stiff shit. Some people have had shocking lives. Some were kids that didn't even get a chance to have a dream or a promise. Or a life.
Yeah, look, that's a whole other department, Marcus. You're lucky to be here, believe me.
No, fuck it. I'm jumping in the hole.
That's your choice then?
Yeah, well, I'll wake up and who knows? I might take something out of all this, and if I don't, well, it's same old, same old.
Not quite the same old, same old.
What do you mean?
You're asleep at the wheel.
What? Metaphorically?
No. Look, your seconds on Earth count for minutes in here.
And so?
So you've about 5 seconds to wake up, correct the car and save yourself.
What?
What was your promise?
Yeah, not to hurt anyone I loved. That was the promise I made to myself at 8 years old, to live my life and not hurt the ones I love.
Your door is here.
So the door's another chance?
Yes.
And the hole?
The hole is just a hole.
Does anyone else die with me? If I crash, I mean.
No, there's no one else in the car. No one else on the road. You're on your own.
Oh, I'm taking the whole.
What?
Well, I don't have anyone to leave behind to hurt. Parents are gone. There's no one else.
Yeah, but what about Dylan?
My kid.
How old is he now?
Well, I'm sure you know, but just to humour you, he's 8.
And why have you only just thought of him now?
I hardly see him. It's complicated.
I see.
No, you don't.
Look, no one's asking you to be a hero to him, Marcus, but you love him, right?
Right.
Our appointment is over, Marcus.
What? Oh. Right.
Here's the next one. It's Michelle Harris.
Right then. How long have I got?
Yeah, about 12 minutes.
Right. I might stretch my legs then.
And how's the ratio tonight?
11 doors and 3 holes.
Not bad.
Yeah, I guess, but I just can't help thinking about...
You know, I know. The ones we lose.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That one has a different tone and a different feel to it. Unfinished business was unusual for me to try and write because I usually like writing from sort of reality, I suppose, where this is obviously set in a space between potentially leaving your life and whatever is on the other side. And I think that was inspired, trashily enough, by watching Warren Beatty in Heaven Can Wait when I was a kid, where he played this American footballer who dies, and he goes to this kind of airport in heaven, and he is fighting with James Mason, who seems to be this bureaucrat who's going to take him to heaven, and he comes back down. So it was pretty corny stuff. Again, not very theatrical, but I lent that film to my mum not long ago, and she said, oh, it had that guy in it that really loves himself. And he's gorgeous, isn't he? And I thought that was pretty funny because that famous song, You're So Vain, was written about him. And so my mum still thinks he's so vain, but he's gorgeous. Good old Warren. So Unfinished Business was, yeah, I was quite proud of that one in terms of it not just being gaggy, so to speak, but having a little bit of some interesting plays with the notion of can we control our fate or something like that. It's wishful. And it's office based. So a lot of stuff I was writing for a time was based in offices. It's more fun when you write something that actually came from true experience. One that was a real failure as a short play was called, I can't even remember, but it was about a real incident where someone in my office, this lovely lady, gave me a burnt CD of this singing surfer, you know, any surfer with an acoustic guitar, maybe because I'm not near a beach, I just don't really relate to them. But I got this CD and I took it home, this burnt CD, and she gave us a copy to everyone in the office. And the next morning I said, thank you for the CD. I really enjoyed it because I'm such a lying suckhole. I didn't listen to it. And then everyone else kept coming in to the office that day and they were saying, oh, the CD you gave me didn't work. So there must have been an error in the burn. And but this lovely lady said, well, it worked for Justin. So there's just a lesson in that. Always try and be truthful and stop trying to be everyone's mate. So yeah, well, again, I'd like to thank Leon and Dan for having a play with the bill. That was very good fun to watch. And again, I'd like to thank Katrina for thinking of doing this, because as I said, there's been some wonderful historical things, and this is, as I said, a nice little segue into that. Thank you, Tristan and Linda, for your wonderful contributions as well. If anyone has any questions, I'm sitting here in my shed where I like to chuck the heater on in these cold months and do some writing. We are getting a new shed soon because unfortunately this has asbestos in it, and that's no good for anyone. So if anyone has any questions, we've got some. Oh, excellent! We've got some feedback. What was the inspiration for Unfinished Business? That's a really good question, Emma. Look, to be honest, I really do feel, if I was going to be quite serious about it, the inspiration for Unfinished Business probably came from the fact that I've had probably the very dark situation of singing at a lot of funerals. There was one song I had called Goodbye Friend. This song was written with a girl in mind, and I was just trying to make her fall in love with me. And I used her name, and my mate Ryder said, get rid of it, call it something like Friend. But this song seemed to resonate with people, and over the years I'd sung it at funerals, and there were too many funerals where people had unfortunately left us on their own sort of call. And so I think that play was based on me having to think back to those sad times and trying to fix them in my head. So that's a very good question. And a question from John in Brunswick, will you be writing more? Always I am. And the one thing about that is some of them are successful and some of them get a chance to be aired, and lots of them aren't and lots of them won't be. I wrote a musical last year and I spent all of winter writing it. And I think it was a kind of glorious failure in many ways, but I'm really glad for the process. So there's a great quote from someone saying, treat success and failure as the same entity or something like that. Someone will find that quote properly for me. And I've learned to do that. Take the good with the bad. So yeah, that musical might be worth revisiting, but it was quite dark. I think last winter was quite dark. But anyway, I did write a screenplay, a full-length screenplay I was really happy with, and Contrita Hill and many of the people involved today took part in a reading of that. And that was very, very awesome. And one day I'd like to see that realised or maybe turned into an actual theatre piece, because you have a better chance, I would say, to have a theatre piece performed than making an actual film. What else have you got? Oh, the Short and Sweet Festival. Oh, thank you. Somebody, Nathan Kernow has mentioned the Short and Sweet Festival. That's a Short and Sweet is a competition that's been going for years, actually. And it's international now, where you can enter your short plays. Cost a little bit of money, but I had the great pleasure of having about 3 over 10 years. I would have had about 15 knockbacks, but 3 snuck in, and 1 got performed in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne, 1 in Edinburgh. And they were fantastic opportunities. So if you're interested in writing short theatrical pieces, Short and Sweet are always looking, and they will put these things on. I never got to any of them to see them live, but just knowing that they were being performed was a great little feather in the cap. And things like that keep you wanting to write more as well. So yes, again, I'm very, very honoured to have been part of this. I wanted to remind people next week that the Love Ballarat crew who put this together are putting some amazing things together for Ballarat Heritage Weekend that's popped up already. It will be an interesting time for Ballarat Heritage Weekend during these very interesting times. A question from Liz in Golden Point. Do you think you will present either the bill or Unfinished Business as a live theatre show? I think so. I think the great thing about Katrina doing this for us today was the idea of showing what usually would be live theatre, but doing it this way due to obvious logistics and the imagination of people like Katrina. So when everything can be cleared to have an audience in the real world, that would be great to see a few more short plays ego-wise, it'd be great for me, and it'd be great to see others as well. So there's some really wonderful live theatre going, and it would be great to see that. My poor daughter was in Loretto's play that got cancelled or postponed. So it has had an effect, hasn't it? It really has, especially we know for performers who, professional performers who have lost their, their income and their everything really. So lots of thoughts go out to those in the arts. And if I could just push that barrow, that if ScoMo and the crew can find a few of those miscalculated millions to go to the arts community, into those who really, really need it. And as I say, what have we been doing during lockdown? For me, I've been reading novels, I've been watching films, I've been watching television series, I've been listening to endless albums of music and watching comedy specials. So how important are the arts in the totem pole of it all when you really think about it like that? But anyway, I'll get off the high horse and I'll say that I reckon, Katrina, I might be finished with my yapping. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in today. And I hope I answered the questions all right. And I really appreciate seeing this work done and seeing people in Ballarat doing these wonderful things. Thanks, love Ballarat as well. Signing off. Thank you all.